viewers, welcome. Let's talk about the Nigerian culture that took the Nigerian popular gay transgender to prison. The culture of spraying money. Nigerians are very lively, bubbly, and party-driven people. This culture is golden and dates far back in the days, very old, enjoyed, loved by every Nigerian. What is the significance of spraying money? In the Nigerian culture, it's a show of affluence. It's also a way of showing support, a way of raising money for celebrants, a way of GoFundMe, a very traditional way of funding people's programs and life after an event, knowing full well that they may have spent some money organizing those events. It's used to show goodwill, sportsmanship, and unionism. Like when members of a group have events, they spray their members just to show support, goodwill, affluence, power, who is who in the society, sometimes pepper them. So that culture is very old. Back in the days where there are no Naira notes, Nigeria popularly uses the Naira as their currency. When there are no Naira notes, the days of trade by barter, when goods and services are exchanged for one thing or the other, they used powders. Then when somebody has a baby, when there is a marriage, when there is any event, the celebrant is sprayed in white powder. Most times it is this morning rose, then very old. So the celebrant is bathed in that white powder to show that he is the celebrant, a form of goodwill, a sense of belonging to wherever he finds himself. Now, as society progressed, those cultures of spraying powder got outdated and people started spraying money. You see people sprayed with money when they dedicate children, when they wed, when they name a child, when they have one event or the other. However, in recent times, when poverty doubled, when hardship became the order of the day, and when there is not much to show off for, a time when the poor members of the society are seen to be mesmerized by those acts, because you really need to see how it is done. You really need to see how this act is done. It's intimidating for some people who don't have the wherewithal to spray. For some people who feel they don't have anybody to come to their parties, those who don't engage in events and have no parties to organize. So, and in a time where people are battling with governance problems and poverty, there came calls from many quarters to abolish that practice. So in 2017, the CBN Act prohibited every form of Naira mutilation. It could be in form of spraying, stepping or matching on the Naira notes, writing or scribing anything on them, printing, stamping, or any form of defacing of the Naira notes. What is yet to be believed? Are Nigerians going to put up with this new law that seem to question who they have been all this while? Many argue that it's going to be difficult to achieve. Many people are going to be willing victims. So, Bobrisky, the Nigerian Barbie, the Nigerian popular crossdresser, and the Nigerian gay transgender became a very prominent victim, the big fish in this new ocean. Trouble began for him in March 2024 when he was seen spraying money in an event and he became the big catch. Bobrisky was arraigned before a court of law in Nigeria and he pleaded guilty. In his lawyer's defense, he said his client is a first offender, but the police has several evidences to show that he has been caught in the act severally. Bobrisky pleaded guilty. He asked that he be shown leniency so that he can use his platform of over 5 million followers to preach the message of Naira preservation. But his request is yet to be considered. In an epic judgment, he was sentenced to a 6 months in prison without option of fine. It's been argued that that law made provisions for an option of fine if found guilty. But no, the judge has discretionary powers. In his sentencing, many Nigerians believe that the police lacks the boldness to prosecute Bobrisky on issues bordering on our beliefs on the dignity of womanhood and the dignity of manhood, the dignity of our gender as male and female, and family values. They argued that Bobrisky's corpse were full, and this formed a better ground to put him behind bars. They said it is because he has a lot of influence on the populace of Nigeria, especially the young ones, as he glamorizes cross-dressing transgender as a valid form of income. He's all over social media encouraging, preaching, and flaunting the wealth he makes as a trans or as a cross-dresser. Something that did not go down well with moral Nigerians. Nigeria is a morally rich society, a religious society that frowns at anything questioning the very principles of creation. The Nigerian society frowns at the behavior, the name, and the activities of the cross-dresser, as seen in most cases displays same-sex intimacy on social media. They argued that with the quantity of money he rakes in and has in his possession as discovered by the courts, that there must be some underpowers supporting his agenda in Nigeria. So the question is Bobrisky the Nigerian experiment of the LGBTQ community? The wildfire of gender fluidity sweeping the West is believed is damaging lives in Africa and Nigeria in particular. They are of the opinion that this agenda of self-love, this seeming self-love, negates every absoluteness and truth in creation. The absoluteness, objectivity of truths as originally made by God, who they worship. They believe that Bobrisky is a portion of the global community pushing the LGBTQ agenda, and as the letters increase, and that his presence is causing much more of such increase in a morally and spiritually inclined society as Nigeria. This group of people welcomed the police, the courts' efforts, no matter whether it is so much in line with the existing laws of the country. So a Nigeria that is grappling with understanding what exactly it entails to be LGBTQ has this cry to curb the menace. What is in these letters? L for lesbian, someone attracted to the female folk. G for gender, that describes gender as fluid, as something you can decide. Bisexual, as someone tilted to any side of the divide. Transgender, as someone who has fully transited from his gender at birth to a desired gender as they progress. And the queer community, who it is in their opinion that life should be lived the way you deem fit. The letters are increasing, but Nigeria is grappling with understanding what they entail. They feel is questioning the very foundations of God. So the call came from many quarters, liking the jailing of a Bobrisky other than the leniency he pleaded. They asked, what is he going to influence? What is he going to do with his platform if granted the opportunity to preach that message? They argued that he is still going to continue in his agenda, winning more souls. Now, let's talk about many influences of Bobrisky. A lot of young people saw his craft as lucrative, raking in money, that he has influenced a lot of people who seem to have become offshoots from his brand. Many of them are in the secret, but there are a lot who have openly declared their identity and are raking in money using this agenda. Among the list is Brian Nwokoro, Onyx Godwin, Michelle Page, J. Boogie, Daniel Anthony, J. Bukati, Nsobudi, Josh Agai, Buchi Alexandra, JP Blush, Gotiful, James Brown, to mention a few. So the opportunity appeared to cop this person who people have spoken about, and nothing has happened because there are no clear-cut laws over his activities, though there is a provision of the Nigerian law that stipulates that people of same gender cannot openly show affection to each other. So people feel that this portion is ambiguous and does not encompass other aspects of this act. So the judge, in his discretionary powers, puts Bobrisky behind bars for Naira mutilation, for defacing the Naira. But most people see it as basically for who he is. But the question is, was there an offense in that regard? And then he's also raising cultural issues. Let me know what you think. Do you think that this act of spraying of Naira notes known to Nigerians is going to go away? Or do you think that our laws should be modified in a way that it still keeps our culture but respects the currency? How do we spray money? Do we stamp out this activity, which a lot of people have argued will be difficult to go away? They have asked that we modify how it is done. Maybe people spray in bunches or give out or not step on the areas where these monies are being sprayed. They argue that this is a beautiful culture that has made Nigerians unique and should not be thrown away. Some people are of the opinion that we are beginning to copy the West in their way of life. They argue that there are certain activities people are known for that should still stay for and with them. Do let me know what you think in the comment section about how we can go about these developments of Naira spraying. And then other issues raised is for Nigeria to make clear-cut laws on transgender and issues bordering on the LGBTQ phenomenon. Bobrisky is going to be cooling off for the next 6 months in the Nigerian prison, and it's been said that he openly accepted that he is a man because he has to be identified in the facility, in the correctional facility, because it became an issue as to where to put him, in the female facility or in the male facility. It also became an issue of what to address him in court. The police gave a hint that after examination, it was seen that he is a full-fledged male, and he agreed to that fact. But this is someone who has openly in the media identified as a female. She has also bragged that she has gone through surgeries, through treatments that has fully transformed and transitioned her into a female. She's been asked to be called a female, but in this case, he was said to be a he. Thank you so much for listening up to this point. Let me know what you think about Bobrisky's situation, about the LGBTQ program in Nigeria, or phenomenon in Nigeria. Let me also know what you think about the culture of Naira spraying that took Bobrisky behind.